guys, my name is Shalanabattles. I am indie author of 2 books, Soul Jumper, which is a paranormal romance, and The Man Before You, which is a contemporary romance. I have my 3rd book coming out in May, so make sure you like, subscribe, follow me on social media so you can stay up to date with that. If you are interested in reading that book for free, reach out to me, leave a comment down below, or send me a message on Instagram. Let me know. I'm looking for beta readers, ARC readers, all of that good stuff right now as we're kind of wrapping things up on encampment. Also, quick reminder, if you've read any of my books or any books in general, please review them. It helps authors tremendously in the online algorithm. And so if you have read a book lately, I challenge you to review that book, regardless of if it's mine or somebody else's, because reviews are so helpful. Okay, today I want to talk about my thoughts on writer's block, or I call it lack of motivation more so than writer's block, because for me it affects more than just my writing, and I'm sure there's other people out there that can relate to that. And so I got this idea for this video because I booked a tour with Silver Dagger Book Tours. If you have not heard of them, check them out. If you're an author and you are wanting to get your books out there, if you're a reader and you just want to find some new stuff to read, I had so much fun. It was a lot of fun. I got to answer so many comments. I did a guest post, and I just had a great time. I can link their Instagram and stuff, website, and all of that down below. But one of the questions in the guest post that I did was, do I believe in writer's block? And so I thought it'd be fun to kind of expand on that. The answer is yes and no. I believe in feeling unmotivated. And I believe in momentary writer's block. And so I do think there's points in a story where you don't know what's going to happen next, or that you aren't sure what a character is going to do or how they're going to react. So yeah, you have a block right there and you have to kind of work through that. But I don't think it's good, even though it's very easy, to sit in that writer's block and have it last, days or weeks or months. And because to me, that's no longer writer's block. That's just not writing. It's not being motivated to write. And I'm not saying that that's always a controllable thing, because it's not. I've had a really rough few months here, and I know kind of the root of why it is, but just because you know why your emotions are affected doesn't always mean you know how to fix it or how to make it better. And so that's what we're going to talk about today. Lack of motivation, some of the things that I do to help that, and maybe they can help you as well. So one of the first things that I do is I visit family, I visit friends. I try to kind of just chill and do non-writing things. And if you can't visit, call. One of my best friends in the whole world called me yesterday while she was driving home, and so we talked for a long time on the phone, and it was amazing. If you can visit, do that. I was just in Arizona, and my mom, bless her soul, I have an amazing mother. She's incredible in so many ways, but she kept my son so I could hang out with another one of my really good friends, and we went to a museum, and there was no kids, and there was no stress, and it was really fun, because I feel like as a writer, you have to have your own identity in order to give characters identity. And so if you're kind of in a slump and you're not really sure who you are or what you want, or you're just not feeling it, it's going to show. It's going to show up in your writing. And so focus on giving yourself kind of those pieces of yourself. Another thing that I do is things I enjoy. And so if I can't write, if it's just not happening for me, I'll do things I like. I like getting my nails done. I love getting my hair done. I take walks. I love taking walks, and I live in Colorado, so there's a ton of gorgeous places to do that. And times when your mind is not on writing, you start to have ideas. And when you're just not thinking about it, suddenly you'll have a thought, and it's like, oh, what if I did this? Or what if this happened? And so that happens to me a lot when I'm walking, and I'm out and I'm breathing fresh air. So that's another kind of thing that I do. The third thing I do when I'm trying to get out of like a slump is I be productive in other ways. And so I am a person who I do not do well when I'm like quote unquote lazy. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing either. I can binge watch shows with the best of them and do that for days on end, but it's not good. It's not like a productive space. It's not a healthy space if you continue that on for a long period of time. I am really aware of that. I am aware of the fact that I perform best when my plate is too full. When people are telling me, oh my God, you're so busy. How do you have time to do anything? That is when I am the most productive and when I feel the best. When I start, not doing things, my whole life suffers. And so I try to be productive in other ways when I can't write. That's when I'm cleaning my house, or I am, paying bills, I'm working on the yard, I'm playing with the dogs, whatever it is. Other areas in your life, cleaning out my truck, where you can be productive and feel accomplished until you get into a space where you can write. And so I would recommend trying to find other areas where you can put your energy if you can't put it in writing. The other thing I do is read. When I can't write, I read. And I'm not talking about reading for pleasure, though that's great too if that's what you do. But when I'm talking specifically about writer's block or lack of motivation, I read comp titles. And I will find titles that are in that genre, in that age range, in that whatever the case may be, and read them. And sometimes I don't read the whole book because I'm not really reading for the story, if that makes sense. I'm reading for the technique. And so with Encampment, I've been struggling hard finishing Encampment. It's that could be a whole video by itself. But I've looked for other titles. So like one thing I've pulled up is The Gray Shear. Haven't finished reading it, but the writing technique in there is awesome. The way little things are described, like when she's walking on a path. And so I recommend doing that as well. If you are not writing your own words, seek out words or authors that do what you want to do well, that you can read and you can look at. And like I said, it doesn't matter if you read the whole book start to finish. It's more of like a research tool is how I kind of think of it. And that oftentimes helps me a ton when I'm really struggling to write a scene or write something or write anything. If I look at a comp title and can start challenging myself to say, okay, this is how this is done really well. How does that translate to my own story? And the last thing is to write. Even if you are forcing yourself, you have to do it. And so that is where I'm at with Encampment right now. Is I'm down to the nitty gritty, the very end, and I am forcing myself to get the words on the page. And I am famous for saying I can edit a lot of words. I can edit some words. I can edit words. I can't edit a blank page. And so that's what I keep telling myself. is, even if it's crap, even if you're writing crap, just get it on the page, because then you have a starting point. And even if the details aren't there, or the flow's not there, or whatever the case may be, you have a place to start. And when you're really struggling to write, I feel like a place to start is great. Sometimes for me, this will literally be lines of text, like, this happens, enter, this happens, enter, this happens. So it's very minimal, but it gives me that foundation of, even if I don't know how I'm going to write the scene, I can't picture it in my head, I don't have the details, I can't do it, I have that very minimal kind of, this happens, this happens, this happens, this happens. Okay, now I can go back in and I can fill that in. Like with Encampment, it's 15 chapters. I have the beginning half of 12 written, the beginning half of 13, the beginning half of 14, and the beginning half of 15. So I'm literally forcing myself to sit down and write the end half of those chapters. And there's information there. I know what happens at the end of chapter 14. I know how it's going to end and transition to 15, but it's just not complete. And so sometimes you gotta force it, as much as I hate to say it, especially if you're a person who's publishing or you're on a deadline. Get the words on the page and then work from there. Okay, so that's some of the things that I do to try to get out of my writer's block or get out of my slump. And I've been in this for a while. I didn't struggle with this with Soul Jumper, and I didn't struggle with this with The Man Before You. But with Encampment, and it's more what's going on in my life than it is the actual story. And so that's kind of my last little tip, is examine why you are not feeling motivated. Examine why you have writer's block. And just because you find the reason doesn't always mean there's a way to fix it. And so sometimes you just got to write out the emotions. And that's kind of where I'm at. And I've been in this vicious cycle for a while of these ups and downs. And writers, to me, in my mind, were very emotional people. Regardless of if you're introvert or if you're extrovert or whatever, I think we feel things deeply. If you disagree with me, let me know in the comments. But I feel like that's what makes us good writers, is we have strong emotions. And so sometimes you just, like I said, you got to ride that out. But if you can figure out what it is, if there's something that happened or something that's causing you to not feel motivated or productive or good about what you're doing, if you can figure it out, if you can pinpoint it, then you can start taking steps to overcome that. And it may be small things like taking a walk. It may be forcing yourself to put the words on the page, whatever the case may be. But if there is some external factor, take that into account and take time to deal with that. Because it all goes back to, you've got to be good in yourself and in your identity and where you're at to give your characters that identity and kind of pour yourself into them. And so those are my tips for today. I think I mentioned everything that I wanted to mention. If you have tips for dealing with writer's block, please leave them in the comments. I would love to hear some more ideas and kind of have that conversation with you guys and talk about it, because I feel like as writers, we all deal with it. We all deal with feeling unmotivated or unproductive or just not happy with what we're doing or what we're writing, or questioning if it's good enough. And so let me know how you deal with it in the comments if you are a writer. And yeah, let's get some dialogue going around that. I think it'd be awesome to hear from other people and how they deal with it. All right, remember to love yourself and believe in yourself and just keep moving forward. I'm excited to hear what you guys have to say about this topic, and I will see you next week.